All right. So for this session, we're going to be talking to Nicole Kroeger, who is with the South Carolina Governor's School for Science and Mathematics. And she's going to be telling us about this new online diploma program that they have available that some of you will want to know about. So take it away, Nicole.
Excellent. Thanks, Kim. Yeah, so I'm Nicole Kroeger. I've taught at the Governor's School for 7 years. I've been teaching math for our residential program, and the Governor's School is adding this new online diploma program to our offerings of things. So right now we have our residential program. We have Accelerate, which reaches students who are staying at their home high schools. And then we have this online diploma program, which is a program where students will become Governor's School students, but will stay at home and take our classes from home. So if you don't mind sharing our presentation, Kim, then I can tell you guys a little bit more about the program. So
Here we go.
We're calling this program STEM Foundations because it's going to have a focus on the STEM disciplines, kind of hitting all the core STEM disciplines and building a solid foundation in them. But we will definitely do some humanities in the mix as well. And so I'll tell you about the classes and the kind of application requirements, and then give you my contact information if you have questions about it. So the highlights of the program, the classes will be taught synchronously via Zoom. So we'll be live. The curriculum will have a STEM focus. The classes will be taught at the college level. Almost all of them. There will be a couple classes that need to be at the honors level just because of the classes, but otherwise they'll be AP or dual enrolled. The program is free for residents of South Carolina, and we will provide technology if needed. We'll be providing textbooks, some ebooks, and physical books otherwise. The program will have a small cohort of students. We're aiming for around 14 students for our first group of students. They'll all take classes together and kind of build a community that way. And students for this first set of students in the program will start in fall 2021 and graduate in spring of 2023. And in case you're worried, we'll have a graduation ceremony. So we'll make sure students get the opportunity to walk if they want to. I'll quickly highlight the admissions requirements. Won't spend too much time on this. So South Carolina resident, definitely. We're funded by the state. So we're looking for students who would be starting 11th grade in fall of 2021 for the first cohort of students. Students should show some interest in wanting to work online, since the program will be all online, or at least a reason for wanting to stay at home, which is reasonable for this group of students we're talking to here. And then for the classes that are needed, we need Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry for math classes, and then English 1 and English 2, so 2 years of English at least, a lab science class, and then a social studies or foreign language class. So for the lab sciences, we're going to be offering these lab sciences again at the college level. So you might have already taken like a biology class, but we'll be offering AP or dual enrolled biology as well. And that's mainly because this is a requirement for getting into colleges in South Carolina, is that you have the right numbers of lab sciences. So we want to make sure that's hit.
Yep.
For the classes in the program, so these are like the core academic classes. Junior year students will take biology, chemistry, English, U.S. history, and math. Math will either be pre-calculus or Calc 1. And then the senior year, it would be computer science and engineering and design class, English, either Calc 1 or Calc 2, based on what they took as a junior for math, and then physics. You notice that almost all those classes have stars on them. So those will be the college level, either AP or dual enrolled. And then for those lab science classes, we will be sending students lab kits with materials that are safe for at-home use. And so there will be some time built into the schedule to work with the instructor on the lab, and then some time kind of to do the lab on your own with the materials we've provided.
Very cool.
Yeah. And so those classes are all going to be taught it's kind of like a college-like schedule. So the classes will meet like 3 days a week for around 50 minutes. It's going to vary a little bit on the class. And then I'll talk about the outside of class stuff eventually. I won't get too far ahead of myself, but we'll have time outside of class for students to meet with us. But those will all be taught synchronously on Zoom. So there's some other academic requirements. We have some seminars for students. So the fall semester, junior year, we have life and leisure and academic transitions. And these 2 seminars are helping students kind of transition into life as a governor school student. So making sure they know how to go to office hours, interact with other students. And then the life and leisure is making sure they have a good balance, that they're not spending all their time studying, and have some kind of transition there. The seminars all meet 1 hour a week. And then in the spring semester, junior year, we'll have college planning. And so that's getting students starting to think about, well, where might I want to go to college, and what kinds of requirements do those colleges that I'm interested in have, and kind of starting to build their college portfolio. And then preparing for research, I'll talk about that one in just a second, but that's to prepare for the summer research program. And then senior year, we follow up with a seminar for college planning in the fall semester, and that's where doing good with that application process. I'll go ahead and skip interim for a second and talk about them.
And all of those end up on the transcript as well, these seminar classes?
That is a good question, if they actually show up on the transcript or not. They're pass-fail classes, so they're not getting like a grade for them.
Okay.
I should double check and see if those actually show up on the transcript or not. I sort of think that they don't. They're graduation requirements, but I don't think something that shows up on the transcript, but I'll check on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just question. Curious how those work.
Yeah. No, that's a great question. That's something that I have not, I don't do too much with the transcript, so I'm not 100% sure about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so then the mentored research and inquiry experience will happen between the junior and senior years for most students. And so that's going to be a research experience, and that can look different for every student. So that might, for some students, that might be going to USC or Clemson or College of Charleston and working with a professor there and doing research under them. If students prefer staying at home, we'll do some virtual options as well. And this could also look like something working with a company and doing some kind of researchy inquiry type experience with them. So there's kind of a lot that can go into that. But this is something we're going to be working with students on to help them find that. We're not expecting them to go out and find these experiences on their own. We've been doing that for 30 years with our residential students. So we have a good base of people that we can reach out to. And then their senior year, they'll come back after doing their summer research and write up what they've done and do a presentation on it as well. And then interim, go out of order here, but interim happens in between the fall and spring semester, both years. And so this is a 2.5-week period of time that happens in January. And this is a time for us to focus on a single course, kind of outside the realm of the normal curriculum. So this will count. This does go on the transcript and counts as a half a unit class. But this class is going to be kind of something a little bit more fun, probably STEM focused. We're going to have students this year for the first cohort of students. We'll have the students kind of create what that class is going to look like. It could be something like traveling around the state of South Carolina and visiting colleges, or learning about different STEM things in South Carolina, or something where we all just stay at home and, focus on some interesting STEM thing, or outside of STEM. If students want to do something that's not STEM, we can do that too. So interim is kind of this time to explore something in focus on one thing for 2.5 weeks and kind of have fun with that. So
that's cool.
Yeah. And then we're going to have, let me see we've got some non-academic requirements. So we'll have some community engagement, just have students involved in their communities, and we'll help students find those activities if they don't already have them. But if it's something that they've already been doing, then that can certainly count for community engagement. Cultural events, we're going to be encouraging students to, maybe go to concerts or museums or things like that. And for both community engagement and cultural events, we'll have some opportunities where the students, if they want to, can get together as a group and do something, or they can do those in their own communities as well. And then students will be making an e-portfolio, which will be a collection of work that will show their growth over the time in the program. And this will be a great resource for them as they prepare for college, kind of can be able to show how they've grown and changed throughout the program and what they've learned. And so then outside of the official requirements and things, we're going to have a lot of academic support for students. So Quest is quiet, uninterrupted, extended study time, which is very fancy time. So what we're going to do is each day, our classes are only meeting 3 days a week for around an hour. So there's going to be time throughout the day where we're not in class. And Quest is going to be, we want students to use that time outside of class wisely. And so we're going to provide some time for them to kind of get together, potentially talk to each other, but just check in with us and see if there's anything they need help with. Faculty will be available during that time. So that's going to be probably an hour a day that students will be required to come and check in and work on something for one of their classes.
Like a study hall.
Yes, exactly, like a study hall. All faculty are going to have office hours throughout the week. So time for students to drop in and ask one-on-one questions. We're going to have peer tutors. These will be for this first year of seniors from our residential program who have taken these classes and succeeded in them, who will be available via Zoom to help. And then students' assistants are going to be similar to those peer tutors. So there'll be seniors in our residential program who will help, answer those questions of like, well, I don't know, Dr. Kroeger's real scary. How do I go talk to her or something, kind of the helping with that adjustment. How do I go to office hours? What am I supposed to do in office hours? That kind of, getting them used to things without having to ask a potentially scary adult.
Yeah. Are you scary? The kids
I don't think I am.
I was going to say, I don't find you scary.
I don't think the students do either, but you never know. So those are our big requirements. And then I think I've got we have our link for the website. So our priority deadline is June 30th, which is not going to, I think most of you who are going to be watching this recording, it's going to be after June 30th, but we are most definitely accepting applications after June 30th. So don't stop here and say, well, it's already after June 30th. It's too late. So we're doing rolling admissions after that. And I think we're going to bring up our website in just a second, but that will link to the website and you can certainly contact me if you have any questions. And I've got my contact information there.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Is this the end of your PowerPoint then? You want me to switch screens?
Yeah, you want to switch over to the...
Yes. So you're accepting admissions for this school year, and those were those are rising juniors, but this is also good to start thinking ahead of time for the 9th and 10th graders to start building in some of those prerequisite classes, because that's 3 years of math. So they would, have to have done some of that even in 8th grade.
Right. So. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So I agree. This is definitely, this is the June 30th deadline is for the fall 2021 students, but certainly something great to start thinking about for next year or 2 years from now. Yep.
Yes. Yes. And a lot of our high school students do kind of make plans about how do I transition in, and go elsewhere. What's the next steps? So this is good information for them to be thinking ahead of time as well for, this is a possibility of a place that their science-minded, math-minded kids could go.
Exactly. So, yep.
And it's cool that it's online, so they're still at home, and then they're on that, kind of college schedule, so they, aren't on the computer every single day, all day long,
Yes, exactly. Yep. And our faculty teaching in the program will be we are GSSM faculty, so we're teaching in our other programs. So I would say that the rigor of this program should be similar to our other GSSM programs. So
yes.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. All so right. Our website here, you've got I think the key things to point out are when we scroll down there, we've got the apply now button, which is probably won't click on it, but that's where to apply. There's a course catalog, which has a little bit more details about those classes that I said, an academic calendar with what day classes are going to start and all that kind of stuff.
That's good information too.
Exactly. And then a list of frequently asked questions. And then some of what's down below is what I've mentioned already.
But it's there again to read over.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. And U.S. history might be a class that people have already taken. So we're thinking that we might be offering another kind of social studies class as well, if that's the case. Students in this program will have to get a state of South Carolina, will have to meet the requirements for a state of South Carolina diploma. And so they'll graduate with a state of South Carolina diploma as well as a diploma from the governor's school from this program. So.
Okay. And the state testing, how does that work if they're online?
Yes. So state testing is going to be one time when we have to actually meet each other in person if we have not met each other in person outside of that. So these are, the state requires us to give the PSAT in the fall semester to juniors, and then either the ACT or the SAT on a class day in the spring semester, and then a career readiness test, and then EOC test. And so the days of those tests, we will not have classes so that we can all make sure it works out. And depending on where the students in the program are coming from, we will either offer those on our campus in Hartsville or potentially in a more central location like Columbia or something like that, if that's going to be easier for everybody to get to. But we'll be working with students to make that happen. But that is something that will have to happen in person.
Okay. And then there's your contact information again. So lots of ways to reach you and ask you questions. So
exactly. Yep. And I'm happy to answer lots of questions.
So, but everything's really right here on the website for them. So any other questions that they have, they can reach out to you that way.
Yep.
So hopefully we'll get a lot of, interest in this opportunity. I appreciate you coming and telling us about it, and look forward to seeing you around to some more too sometime. Yeah. So,
sounds great.
All right. So thanks a bunch. We'll talk to you later.